feel that? That's a feeling of being back, and back we are. As you can see, we're on the road this season, from likely a new destination each week. For instance, this week I'm in Gurnee, Illinois, about 2 minutes away from Six Flags at a country inn and suites. Unfortunately, Six Flags is closed for the week while I'm here, which is awful news. But alas, the recap is back to cover and break down another exciting season of Honkie Football League action. That being said, let's get to the week one's coverage. Our first matchup was It's Just Luck and Force It in Her Butt. These two GMs, Justin and Tillman, have had many memorable matchups, and this one didn't disappoint. It's Just Luck jumped out ahead early on Thursday with 10 points from kicker Steven Hauschka, but by Sunday's end, with only 2 players left to go, they found themselves in a 13-point gully against Force It in Her Butt. Fortunately, those players were Michael Floyd and Matt the lean, mean Russian machine Stafford. Stafford's had himself a night, scoring 30 points, including the rare touchdown scramble from his previously immobile quarterback. Now, Force and Butt didn't look all bad. Le'Veon Bell scored a high for all running backs this week with 25.7 points, and with the help from Big Ben and B-Mars combining for nearly 40 points, they had a nice base to work off of. Problem was, no one else really did anything else. In fact, no one even reached double digits for them on the team, so it's pretty tough. Finishing the first week with the third highest score, It's Just Luck improved to 1-0 with a score of 106.84 to the 79.4 from the now 0-1 Force It in Her Butt. In our second matchup, we have Coon and the Cobb versus Mother Tuckers, with nice weeks from Nick Foles and Greg Olsen, who combined for 30.18 points, plus a dominating 17.6 point performance from the newly crowned UFC Champion of the World, Antonio Brown, who I have to say looked great in his fight against the lightweight punter Spencer Lanning. Fire up, Chips. Anyway, with those points locked in, Mother Tuckers was looking good. Now, with that information in your head, and if I were to tell you that Coon and the Cobb only got 10.56 points out of the perennial fantasy and real-life all-star quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and none of his receivers scored in double digits, would you think Mother Tuckers was looking poised for a win? Probably so. But not only did they lose, they lost hard to a squad led in scoring by Denver's tight end Orange Julius Thomas, raking in 3 touchdowns and posting a cool 28.4 points, plus a huge 24.4 points on Thursday out of Mr. Skills himself, Marshawn Lynch. Krieger's crew posted the highest score in the league, which puts them in first place to start the season with a final of 121.46 to a now winless Mother Tuckers 80.58. Our next matchup to break down is Misselli's the Don Goodell and Casey's team, Zubaz. This matchup featured 3 of the top 5 scorers in our league, which is why it was the highest scoring matchup of the week. And as we all know, win or lose, it's always good to post big scores. Zubaz started the week out on a bad note with their first-round pick, Eddie Lacy, posting a disappointing 4.5 points on Thursday. It was an omen for how the week would go, unfortunately, for them, even though their QB, Andrew Luck, put up a stellar 28.7 points, and wide receiver Cordell Patterson started his sophomore campaign with an absurd run that led to an 18.8 performance, and also getting solid efforts from Giovanni Bernard and kicker Blair Walsh. They couldn't top the onslaught that came from the Don Goodell's troops. Led by Matt Ryan and his personal record-breaking, week-leading 31.42 point show, a Herculean effort by Megatron with his 2 touchdowns and 28.4 points, plus 18.3 points from Dallas's only offensive weapon this Sunday, DeMarco Murray. It was a storybook start for a team who has continually fallen short of the HFL's ultimate goal. You know, that nice little trophy you saw last week. The Don Goodell improves to 1-0 with a score of 120.12, which is second in the league, to a respectable 95.1 from Zubaz. Now, our fourth tilt this week features one of the league's loudest owners versus our definitively most Mexican owner. Chuck with Breezy Bushes and Brian with his new squad, 50 Shades of Gold. There was a lot of scoring in this matchup, and a lot of it was done by Breezy Bushes. 50 Shades didn't have really many abysmal performances, but they did have a lot of mediocre ones. Their top 2 scorers, Julian Edelman and Shady McCoy, only combined for 23.1 points, while their bottom 2 scorers, Jason Witten and Steven I'm Still Here Jackson, turned in a measly 6.6 points. When all was said and done on Sunday, they finished the league worst 75.06 points. Now, if there's a loser, then there has to be a winner. And a winner is you, Breezy Bushes. They opened the season with 5 players scoring in double digits, including being the only team to have all 3 of their starting receivers score above 10 for a stellar 48.3 combined points. That plus 16.5 points from the adorable Drew Brees and also 16.5 from Vernon Davis, they put this match up to bed pretty early and without a bedtime story. Final score was 104.72 to 75.06. Now, on to our final matchup of the week. Joykinoff and Hot Graham. In our final, closest, and lowest scoring tilt this week, we got a much anticipated and highly underwhelming matchup of the league's top 2 tight ends, Hot Graham's namesake Jimmy Graham and Rob Gronkowski of Joykinoff. When a heads-up wager was struck between the 2 GMs, myself and Eric, it was on for these 2 position leaders to duel it out. Gronk ended up getting me the victory thanks to a touchdown, but neither tight end really shined like they should have. Just going to say that out loud. But it was still a good matchup regardless. After Sunday's games, Hot Graham only held a 10.8 lead, even though none of Joykinoff's receivers touched double digits. Now, with only Larry Fitzgerald to uphold that lead on Monday against Joyke Bell and San Diego Kickers Nick Novak, things look really good for Hot Graham. Even though Bell and Novak had 16.6 points between them, it would only take a mediocre game from Fitzgerald to secure the victory. But that didn't happen. With only 1 catch in the game, he managed 22 yards, but that was all he did that day. 2.2 points wasn't enough to down the reigning champs, Joykinoff. Final score, 86.26 to 82.66. Now, that wraps it up for the matchup recaps. Now let's get on to the awards that we all love so much. First one, biggest loser. Unlike the NBC hit reality show, you do not want the title of biggest loser here on the recap. Biggest loser can refer to many things: a team losing a megastar to injury, a huge standings drop, or in Mother Tucker's case, a good old-fashioned ass whooping. Not only did they post the 3rd lowest point total this week, they also went head-to-head with the Week 1's top scorer, Coon on the Cob. Mother Tucker's could have had Jamal Charles go off for an additional 37 points to what he already scored, and they still would have fallen to Krieger's Coon crew. Chin up, though. At least next week, you only have a 10% chance of receiving the award again. But then again, Mother Tucker, you are the biggest loser this week. Up next, we have a segment that's reserved for those of you who start the wrong people at all the wrong times. For the first of the 2014 season, it's the Bench Boo Boo. Let's start this week with a question. What do Kendall Wright, Terrence Williams, Kelvin Benjamin, and Michael Floyd have in common? That's right, they're all double-digit scoring receivers getting sore butts on Hot Graham's bench. What's the point of having all those wide receivers if you choose to start the wrong ones? 4 receivers on your bench that, if substituted for either starting dud Harry Larry Fitzgerald or Michael I Got the Crabs Tree, would have gotten you the points you needed. Chances are that won't happen again. And by that I mean starting all the wrong receivers, not losing. Get used to that part, Hot Graham. But you have won this week. You won the Week 1 Bench Boo Boo. Congrats. That wraps it up for all the Week 1 business. Next, of course, is the Week 2 preview. With exactly half of you losing and half of us winning, and the former and the bottom of the standings going into Week 2, it's time to move up, get back on the horse, or drop deeper into winless season. Getting that first win under your belt gets more and more important as the weeks go on, so you winless teams better gear up and prepare to take on this week's opponent. And for the rest of you, I say to you, you make it that easy on them? I don't think so. Finally, we have a few changes to the league. One of the biggest ones is that the playoff is going to be expanded to include 60% of the league now, which will make the 4 schmucks who miss out feel even worse about themselves. But that all being said, it's time to have another good season. Make sure you guys have your priorities straight this year. As in fantasy football first, then maybe something else behind it. Family, work, whatever. But that's it, boys. That's the first of 16 installments of the recap here on the new Honkie Football League Network. I'm Mark Krasinski. Take it easy.